Megan Hicks of I Run Far, and I'm here with Anne-Marie Madden, the day before the 2015 The North Face Endurance Challenge 50-mile championships. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
This is my first time interviewing you. It's my first time meeting you as well.
It's great to meet you. Heard great things about you from Ellie and everyone else.
Well, likewise.
And I love following all your updates and tweets and everything for all the races. It's
Stalking
super
races.
helpful. Yeah, no, it's good.
Well, we got to know you for the first time last year when you raced at this race. That was sort of your introduction to high-level ultra racing. It was your first 50-miler too, if I remember.
Yeah.
So, what was that like for you, kind of coming from the road scene and converting to sort of the core of the ultra scene?
Yeah, I felt very comfortable with trail. Had always run and done lots of trail races, but certainly had never run that distance, and I guess I picked a fairly competitive race to decide to do that. But it was nice. It's the same time zone. It's not that far to travel, and last year was just a really consistent year. Everything just sort of felt good, flowed pretty well, and had a lot of races I was happy with. So it felt a little bit like it might just be a cherry on top. Let's give it a try at the end of the season. And I think I'd started to just burn out maybe a couple weeks before the race. Like everything was starting to break down. I got kind of sick and was feeling some injuries, but I think the taper was enough to just hold it together. So I came in feeling a bit tired, but happy to just give it a go, and knowing I'd had a fair bit of training and racing that year already, and was hoping it'd be enough to get me through the day.
It was a big cherry on top. You were fourth in a really competitive field.
Yeah, I think coming into it, I didn't really have any idea placing-wise. I just wanted to feel like I had a reasonable race and that I wasn't totally off pace by the end of it, in the sense like I didn't want to fade too much.
Yeah.
I did a little bit, but it was more almost, and then I recovered again. I think it's like what happens in ultras. There's ups and downs.
Yeah.
But the downs weren't that bad, and it overall was a pretty good experience, and obviously got me coming back for more.
Yeah, you're back for more.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, before we talk about this year's race, I want to ask you a little bit about your history with running.
Sure.
Prior to coming into trail racing, mostly in 2014. Before that, you were more exclusively road running? Is that
No, I think I used to be a triathlete, and I lived in Victoria. And we lived in a cabin in the woods, basically, and our backyard was just a massive trail network. And
so you've been a trail runner for a while.
So I've always, I think like when I first started running, it was on trail when I was in high school, but I was too nervous to join like the high school cross-country team or anything. I figured I would not be able to keep up, and I truly thought I couldn't do it. So I'd run with my friends, like one of my good friends, Joanna, and I think would just always find little running adventures, and that was what we like to do. So yeah, I've always done, I'd say, most of my run training on trail, but I was not a skilled enough mountain biker. Like if I'd had my choice in triathlon, I for sure would have rather have done all the off-road stuff. But I'd probably have numerous broken bones by this point. So I stuck to the road because I could ride on the road reasonably well. Yeah, and then sort of transitioned out of triathlon. It was too much time, and
like the 3 different disciplines.
Yeah.
Or,
and so just kind of went back to what I liked, and
back to the core of running.
Yeah, and it's great. Like I sometimes miss some parts of multisport, but for the most part, it's always been running. It's always been my favorite, and it's easier to fit into your life. And like traveling to races now, I am so grateful that I'm not wheeling a bike bag through the airport and having to see if you can bargain to pay less for your bike, and so it's just everything about it's easier.
Awesome. Well, now you're here, you're back at the North Face 50 mile. That's okay. Come on by.
Oh, sorry.
How's it going?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Good. There's like coffee and goodies inside.
Perfect. That's nice. All right. Sorry.
Lots of delicious breakfast food.
So it's a year later. You're a year wiser, or maybe stupider to come
Yeah.
back again. I'm just teasing. What brings you back to this race? What sort of unfinished business or similar experiences do you want to find this time?
So this year, as opposed to 2014, has just been really up and down. I feel like I've been sick more of the year than I've been healthy, had some injuries. So apart from maybe like one of Gary Robbins' trail races that I just do every year, and I've done it for 4 years now, I PB'd on that course. Apart from a few races like that where I thought, oh, okay, things clicked again.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like there's more that I want to get out of the season. So it'd be really nice to have a race that goes well. And with the competition this year, I think placing probably wouldn't be the way to gauge that. It'll just be to feel like I've had a good race. Yeah. So I wouldn't. Last year I was very careful. I went out what I thought was very cautiously, and I don't think I would. In retrospect, I didn't think I needed to go slower, but I wouldn't try and go faster this year. I think the goal would be to start out like last year, but just
Hopefully maintain
that
a
pace
little bit
longer.
more.
Yeah, and only a few minor things sort of didn't go according to plan last year, but nothing catastrophic or major. So I wouldn't really expect that. It's not like I went off course and I'd say,
Yeah.
if I stay on course this year, I'll go an hour faster. I definitely would like to, run 7 something, and just feel like it was a fairly consistent day.
Okay.
And I didn't botch anything too badly.
According to social media, you've been doing some training with Ellie Greenwood, who's pretty experienced in the ultra realm at this point. Have you been trying to glean some smarts and glean some things from her? Or?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much entirely opposite runners.
Okay.
Like Ellie just gets stronger the longer she goes, whereas I think I probably am faster if you were to just make us run 5K or something. But we're very, whether it's the training or how we're like wired physiologically, we're kind of opposites in that.
Okay.
And I love climbing, and Ellie loves descending.
Yeah.
So even in our training runs on the uphills, she's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I know you want to go faster. And then on the downhill, I'm working hard to try and keep up with her. So it's hard when someone when their race strategy is like, she's nailed how to run for her capabilities.
Right.
And so you can certainly learn so much from friends who have that much experience. But I think if I were try to follow her exact strategy,
It would not be the right thing
it
for you
wouldn't
to
work.
do.
And
Yeah.
so you just have to draw on your own experience. And for sure, people have some tips or, key points, and that's always helpful and much appreciated. But yeah, you can never follow someone else's recipe and think that you're going to bake the same cake.
Yeah. Great metaphor there. Well, best of luck to you
Thank
this
you.
weekend,
Thanks.
and we'll see you out there.
Yeah.